We are now well into the holiday season, and as we learned from Kevin McAllister, criminals don't take the holidays off.
Another Christmas in the trenches.
The FBI just issued a new warning about cybercriminals impersonating banks so they can gather enough information to take over your personal bank account and steal all your money. The FBI has received over 5,100 complaints about this account takeover scam. This scheme is the latest in social engineering and phishing tactics used by scammers all over the world. In this video, we're going to go over the strategies that these criminals use to steal over $262 million from Americans this year.
Listen, Wayne, want to know how someone nearly drained their checking account? $5,000 gone overnight.
They can get $5,000 every single time they use a card, and they have 20 cards. It's a lot of money.
First, let's discuss the social engineering strategy. Social engineering is basically just manipulating people into doing something they shouldn't be doing, like sharing information they shouldn't be sharing, which is the most common use case. But this can also include downloading things they shouldn't be downloading, or even sending money directly to the criminals. With these account takeover scams, the criminals will reach out to the victim via text message, phone call, or email while pretending to be an employee at a financial institution, in customer support or technical support. Once they convince the victim that they work for their bank, they will ask them for their login credentials, and once they have that, they can access their account and then even change the password to lock the account owner from their own account.
But a few weeks after moving in, she says she got a text saying her bank, Chase, wanted to know if she'd approved a $35 debit card charge from another state.
So basically, it's one of those fraud texts.
That's right.
Did you approve this transaction?
Yeah, that's all it was. Just a minor irritant in my day. And of course, I said, no, I don't approve of it.
Then the phone rang, showing Chase Bank as the caller, she says. And on the other end,
hello, ma'am. This is Miss Barbara from Chase ATM. I'd like to know if it's okay if I give you a new card. And I said yes.
a new debit card. But she says the woman told her before she could issue it, she'd need to verify Moss's identity by sending her a text message and having her read the numbers in the message back to her over the phone.
And I would just repeat those numbers to her, and she'd say, "That's great. Thank you so much, Miss Moss."
Once they have total control of the account, they will withdraw the funds and quickly disperse them.
Her new card was supposed to arrive in 1 to 2 days, but Moss says the next day Ms. Barbara called, saying FedEx was having trouble locating her home, something Moss says wasn't surprising to her since she'd just moved. Over the next week, Ms. Barbara called several times, Moss says, each time saying there was a problem with delivery of the card, and each time asking Moss to verify her identity by reading back the numbers from those text messages. Moss finally decided to go to the nearest bank branch 30 minutes from her home. And it was here, she says, a supervisor told her,
He looks up at me and says, "Oh no, Deborah, this has been a very active card. As a matter of fact, all the money that you had in there is gone, and you actually owe Chase $895. That's how I was told that somebody had taken all my money.
nearly $160,000 stolen.
It's a lot of money. It took me 12 years to get that money, and that was my life savings.
In some cases, the criminal will even convince the victim that their account has been used fraudulently to purchase concerning things like firearms. Then they will offer to link them up with a law enforcement official, which will be another scammer. Then that scammer will convince the victim to give up their login information. And since they're thinking this is a big criminal investigation, it's a serious matter, they'll be less hesitant to give up this information. Another tactic these scammers use are phishing domains and websites. These websites are designed by the criminals to look indistinguishable from the bank's legitimate website. Once these scammers have contact with the victim, they may guide them to one of these websites where they'll be prompted to enter their login information, which will go directly to the scammer. Additionally, these scammers will even use a tactic known as search engine optimization poisoning. This involves purchasing ad space at the top of certain search results to make their fraudulent website appear legitimate.
When I'm not reporting the news, I'm a frequent Amtrak rider. Recently, I Googled Amtrak customer service, and the first 3 results showed websites or phone numbers that don't belong to Amtrak, even though the links stated Amtrak or Amtrak phone number.
I think that's pretty terrible.
Laura Black says she called a number listed on another site, thereservationsdesk.com, and paid them $356 to upgrade her Amtrak trip from New Orleans to Charlottesville back in March.
It was a fraudulent ticket. I was actually really shocked the fact that you can Google something and at the top hit, it's a scammer. Like, how does that happen?
For example, someone trying to sign into their Bank of America account will most likely just Google Bank of America to find the website, unless they have the domain saved somewhere. So the scammer might purchase ad space for searches like Bank of America or something similar like Bank America or American Bank, just to capture all the search results they can. Then the victim might be fooled into clicking on this ad believing it's the search result and that it is the correct website to access their Bank of America account. Once they click on the ad, they'll be guided to a website that looks very similar to the legitimate Bank of America website, so they'll be less likely to notice that they're entering their personal information into a completely new site. No matter what the strategy is, the scammers have the same end goal, which is to gain access and then eventually take total control of your personal bank account. According to the FBI, once they have control, they'll quickly wire funds to other criminal-controlled accounts, which are linked to cryptocurrency wallets. This will make sure the funds are quickly dispersed and difficult to trace. Just another example on how cryptocurrency has become one of the most useful tools for criminals all over the world. The FBI also provided some tips to avoid falling for these account takeover scams. Number 1, be careful about the information you share on social media, like a pet's name, schools you have attended, your date of birth, or information about your family members. Scammers could use this information to guess your account details or just better tailor a social engineering attack against you. Number 2, monitor your financial accounts on a regular basis. This way you can spot any irregularities.
Fast forward to June 26th of this year. That's when the bank called to tell them about unusual activity. They called the main number to ensure it was the bank. It was, and they said they were handling it. The next day, the same call. That's when we went to a branch in person to report fraud. He felt confident. Until a text 2 days later.
My balance basically fell to, I believe, $38, somewhere in the $30 to $40 range. So then I immediately checked my banking account and noticed that $59,500 was being withdrawn.
Everyone's vulnerable to identity theft or account takeovers. That's why it's so important for you to be cognizant of what you have in your account.
We went to the Secret Service field office in Detroit for advice on how to best protect yourself from these bank account takeovers.
Monitoring and checking your financial statements, billing statements every month, whenever they get in.
I also think it will help you become more familiar with your bank's legitimate website, so you're less likely to be fooled by a convincing fake. Number 3, always use unique passwords and enable two-factor authentication. This way, if one password is compromised, all your other accounts aren't compromised automatically.
Make sure that you're using best practices when you're on the computer, and that means obviously strong passwords, antivirus, firewall.
Number 4, use bookmarks or favorites for navigating to login websites. This will ensure that you never have to search for your bank's website and accidentally click on one of these ads purchased by the scammers. Number 5, stay vigilant against phishing attempts. If you receive a phone call or a text from someone claiming to be a bank employee asking for your login information, hang up or delete the text message. Then call your bank directly from a number that you found on a trusted website, preferably one that you already have bookmarked for accessing your account. If you are unlucky enough to have already fallen for an account takeover scam, contact your bank directly, reset your credentials, then file a detailed complaint with the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center at their website ic3.gov. Make sure to include the words account takeover or search engine optimization poisoning in the incident description. This will help them stay up to date on the ever-evolving tactics these criminals use so they can update their warnings and prevent as many of these scams as possible. Well, that's all I have for you today, so if you learned something or just found this video interesting, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.
You think of your bank as being someplace that you put your money so that it's safe, but it's not safe. It needs to change.